guys, and welcome to another reading vlog. I want to continue a series that I'm in the middle of right now because I'm in the middle of so many series. I definitely expected the fall weather to be kind of kicking in a little bit more. Right now we're at the end of the second week of September, and so far this month I have read only one physical book, and it wasn't even on my TBR, so we're not doing too well on that. Anyways, so I want to do a reading vlog continuing romance series that I'm in the middle of. I have quite a few. I have some on my TBR, so I'm probably going to focus on those, but we'll see where this takes us. And I think that I want to do a 24-hour readathon. I would do a 24-hour like readathon straight, but I'm just getting over a cold, so I feel like that's probably not the best idea to put my body through that. Maybe in the near future, maybe towards the end of the month, I will do one of those. I've done one before successfully, so I definitely want to do another one, especially maybe to finish off my TBR when we get towards the end of the month. That could be fun. But for now, we're just going to use the timer method, and we're going to time 24 hours and see how many books I can read during that time, and we'll update as I go. So for my first book, I'm going to start with Daydream by Hannah Grace. I got it in August. I really wanted to read all of it, but I was away for the last 2 weeks of August, so I got it like 2 or 3 days before, and I read as much as I could, but I wasn't able to finish it, and I haven't like picked it back up yet. It was really too bad that I had to stop in the middle. I love this series, and so far this book is so good, and I was really sad that I had to like stop because it's just not the same as like reading a book all the way through. Anyways, I am on page 266, and there are like 430 pages in here, so 170 pages left, but we're gonna start with this just because it's the one that like I'm in the middle of. Let's start our 24-hour timer and get this readathon going. And the timer has started, so let's get reading.
We were on the right side, looking out the left side.
Hi guys, it is the next day. I just finished my first book of the video, Daydream by Hannah Grace. So the timer is basically at just under 21 hours, so it took me 3 hours to finish the book. This book was so cute. It was really sweet. It was definitely way less spice than Wildfire, the previous book in this series. It was honestly just really wholesome. I loved both of the main characters. I was really rooting for them the whole time, which was so sweet and so fun. I don't really want to give too much away from this book, especially because it is like the third in this series and everything, but it was just a really, really fun time. And I would definitely recommend it. I think I'm gonna do all of my ratings for the books that I read in this at the end, not to be annoying, but just so I can like sit with my thoughts a little bit. Definitely a highly rated book though. It was really good. I don't think it gave me like a 5-star feelings or anything like that, but definitely highly recommend, and definitely met my expectations. Like I said, this was like a highly anticipated release for myself this year, and it definitely met those expectations, which is always so fun when it does. So yeah, absolutely love this book. First book of the video down. Okay, so next up for romance series that I'm in the middle of, I have 2 on my TBR, which are Daisy Hates, the second book in the like Magnolia Parks universe, but the first Daisy Hates book. And I also have Ricochet, which is the second book in the Addicted series. So these are both on my TBR, and they are continuations of series I'm in the middle of. Another option that I have on my physical TBR is Hook, Line, and Sinker. I read It Happened One Summer earlier this summer, and I really, really liked that book. It really caught me off guard by how much I liked it. And so it's just a duology, so it'd be really fun to read this book because it would also finish the series, which would be really nice, but it's not on my September TBR. I'm probably gonna do one of the 2 that are on my TBR. They're like different romance books. They're like romance books, but I don't know if anyone else feels this way. It's like a character study book with romance in it, but it's not like your strict like romance plot, which I felt like a Daydream and I feel like Hook, Line, and Sinker would follow. So I think just to switch it up, I'm gonna read one of these. I think I'm gonna do Ricochet. I'm not like in a book slump, but I feel like I'm really slow reading my books right now just because I took kind of like a 2-week break of reading books at the beginning of September while like being sick and everything like that. So I kind of just want to like get through some books to like get back in like that rhythm. I don't know if that makes sense, but anyways, so I think I'm gonna read Ricochet. I'm really excited for both of these, and I'm probably gonna get to both of these in the video. I just feel like right now I just want a bit of a shorter book, so I think that's why I'm gonna pick this one, and I'll update you guys as I'm reading it. Okay, Hi guys, it is the next day and I read quite a bit last night and a little bit this morning, so our timer sits at 16 hours and 46 minutes. So last time I updated, I was starting Ricochet and I was like, oh, and I said I was gonna come in and make some updates on my reading, but I finished the book. It's not a very long book. It's 267 pages, so it's definitely a bit of a shorter book, and I definitely meant to update. I just started reading, I sat down and I basically finished it all in one sitting, and then this morning as soon as I woke up I finished it. I had about 30 pages left, so I just went ahead and finished them this morning. I'm sorry for not updating, but this book was really interesting because it didn't really have like the normal structure of like a romance book. Obviously this entire series is like a romance series. This one was definitely a little bit different. It was definitely, I would say it was more of just a character study of our main character Lily and what she's going through after the first book left off. We definitely got to learn a little bit more about other characters, especially Lily's sisters. In this one, Daisy had a lot of like page time, I guess you could say. So that was really fun. I always hear people say that they love like the found family in these books. I didn't really get that feeling after the first one, but after this one I definitely get what they're saying. Although I'm not quite there yet with all the characters, I definitely see the potential, and after the first book I really liked the series and I was really excited to go into the next ones, but I wasn't absolutely head over heels. But after this one I am super excited for the rest of the series. It's so good. I can't believe that I haven't read this until now, and I've known about the series for years, so oh well, that's okay. You know, you read the books at the right time, and I definitely really liked this one. It was super fast paced. I read it in what, like 4 or 5 hours, which is really fast for me. I know it's a shorter book, but even so it's really easy to read, and like I said, it doesn't have like the regular romance structure plot, like, and so I don't know, you didn't get like the first act, second act, third act. It just felt like almost like a stream of consciousness. Like, it was really great to just read in one sitting. You got a couple glimpses of their past in this book, which was really great. And yeah, I'm not sure when I'm gonna rate it yet because like I said, I just finished it, but I really liked it. But anyways, moving on to our next book. I know I spoke about Daisy Hates as an option, but I find that it is kind of similar to the Addicted series in a way that it doesn't have your typical romance plot structure, and so I kind of wanted to save that in case I get to a fourth book in the video. So now for my next book I did want just like a typical, you know, romance plot. And like I had said, I read It Happened One Summer earlier this year, and so really wanted to finish off the duology before the year is over. So my next book is going to be Hook, Line, and Sinker by Tessa Bailey. So this is the second book. It is just a 2-book series. For those who don't know, in It Happened One Summer, there's like 2 sisters who moved to a small like fishing coastal town. Romance ensues with a local with our first sister. This is about the second sister and someone who works with the main guy in the first book, and you do get quite a few cameos of these 2 people in the first book. And after reading the first book I was so excited for this one. I just didn't have it yet, which is why it's taking me so long to pick it up. I just got it earlier this month, and so I'm really excited to read it. So I'm definitely hoping we can get to 2 more books in this video with our almost 17 hours left. I definitely think we can. I don't think we can do 3 more books, but I think we can definitely do 2. So we're gonna start with this one and see how long it takes us to finish.
When we got lost in the night, and right then took a little trip, down came the drip, yeah, rain down for us.
I quickly interject for a 100-page check-in. I just reached chapter 8, page 102, so we are a little ways into it. It took me an hour and 45 minutes to read it, so now we have exactly 15 hours left. The first book leaves off where the sister in this story, Hannah, she moves back to LA to her normal life after everything that happens in It Happens One Summer. And Fox is our male main character, and he, like I said, is part of the crew that works with Brendan, who was the interest in our first book. Essentially, Hannah is part of a production company that's like part of her job, and they were looking for a like new setting to film the movie that she's working on, and so she proposed the small town where these books take place, and so that's why she moves back there, and that's how they they get back in touch. So far it's really good. Nothing too much has happened, just been mostly setting the scenes for everything. In terms of the romance, again, nothing really has happened. He is known as kind of a ladies' man, so he has been told to stay away from Hannah, you know, with a 10-foot pole, and she is interested in the director that she's working with. So they do have a bit of an arrangement where he kind of helps her get him. Just one of those classic setups, but that's as far as I've gotten right now. There are like 350 pages in this book, so we're a little ways through. Since the first book, they have established like a friendship and they have kept in contact, which I think is really sweet. I really like their friendship, and I'm excited for the romance to ensue. I think it's going to be really good. I'm really rooting for them. I think they'd be so cute together. So yeah, the vibes are just really great so far. I'm just having a great time. It's pretty light and fluffy so far. Nothing too crazy has happened. So yeah, that's where I'm at with this book, and 15 hours left.
We were on the right side, looking out the left side, right when we got lost in the night, and right then took a little trip. Down came a drip, yeah, rain down for us. And when that rain comes down, it's like the pain goes away.
Hi guys, I just wanted to do a quick little reading update. So our timer currently sits at 12 hours and 50 minutes, so almost 13 hours still to go. I guess I read about 2 hours today, so I made it to chapter 17, page 218, so I have about 150 pages to go. So far it's really good. We have definitely progressed in the romance storyline a little bit. They've just kind of gotten closer. The trope is just like friends to lovers, and it's just really sweet. They're just spending some time together and, you know, sharing a little bit more about themselves, and it's just really sweet. I wouldn't say anything crazy has happened so far, and I also wouldn't say that this is like a really intense, you know, like connection and like longing for one another. I think they're just like slowly over time realizing that they actually do have feelings for each other. Anyways, it's just really sweet. It feels very low stakes, which I feel is like good and bad, just because it's nice that it's not like super high stakes, and sometimes that can be really nice. But at the same time, I'm not like super excited for the book because I like need these characters to be together. At this point in time, like I am rooting for them, which is great. There's nothing worse than like actually actively not rooting for a couple in a book, but I don't absolutely need them to be together. Honestly, at this point in time, if they stay friends, you know, like it's not the end of the world. It's still really sweet. There's definitely a couple of reasons that they can't be together at the moment, which we knew at the beginning of the book, and those haven't really been addressed yet. I mean, there's still a lot of the book left. I guess I just passed the like halfway mark a couple pages ago. I will say so far, I also was expecting to see Piper and Brendan a lot more, who's like the couple from the first book. I thought that they were really sweet, and I don't know, I definitely wanted to get like a bit more like cameos from them, so that's kind of disappointing so far. And even so, I'm still really enjoying it. I'm having a great time. So I do have some time today, and I'm just gonna kind of continue reading. I think I'm gonna take a quick break because I do have to do something for school quick, but after that I'm just gonna sit down and continue reading, and I would love to finish this book today, but we'll see how it goes.
So tell me how you feel, are you better with me? So raise it eyes to the sky and hold it up high like yeah.
Our timer is currently paused at 11 hours and 39 minutes, and we are on page 279, chapter 21. So we are almost done. There's about 80 pages left, so I think we're gonna be able to finish this today. So far, it's been very good. Since my last update, the romance has definitely advanced quite a bit. There's been some things happening on that front. Even so though, I still feel the same way I felt before when I was saying that it just doesn't feel like the most intense romance connection ever. I don't really feel like the author did such a good job for, you know, creating that like yearning that you have for the characters to be together. I think that that was kind of a miss on this one. For me, I feel like it just impacts everybody differently. For example, the first one I rated really highly. I forget if I gave it a 5 stars or not. I actually might have. I just had such a great time reading it, and I really could feel the chemistry between the characters. For these, it's there, but it's just not quite as strong. So that is definitely a huge thing that I'm noticing at the moment, but it's still really good. I'm really rooting for them to be together. I'm excited to see how this ends, and at the end of the day I'm just enjoying my reading experience, so it's still really good. I have no idea what I'm going to rate this book yet. We'll have to see, you know, how it wraps up and what it's like towards the end. So I'm excited to continue reading, and yeah, we should be able to finish it today, so I'll definitely be back with a bit of an update when we're all done.
And I promise you these fish get bigger if you just keep swimming up. And now I'm drowning in daydreams.
Okay, as you guys saw, I just finished Hook, Line, and Sinker by Tessa Bailey, and we now have 10 hours and 30 minutes left on the timer. My thoughts haven't really changed that much since my last update. I thought it was getting really good before third act conflict. I was definitely thinking it was gonna be like a 4 stars before the third act conflict, but honestly, I don't know, the third act conflict was so, I don't know, I just didn't like it at all. I don't know, it just felt like repetitive of what we had kind of the whole book, so I don't know, it didn't really bring anything new, and it just kind of made me not like male interest as much after that. Overall though, I thought it was still pretty good. I still had like a good time reading it, but I definitely preferred the first book in the duology better than this one, but I'm still glad that I read it. Like I said for the other ones, I'm just going to save my final ratings for the end. I do want to think a little bit on all of them, so we're just going to move on to the next book, which is going to be Daisy Hate. I think I read the first book in both of these series in the same video earlier this summer actually, which is super funny. I don't know if it's going to take me the full 10.5 hours to finish this. We shall see. Yeah, we're definitely going through a lot of books in this 24 hours. Definitely kind of more than I thought I would.
When the flame is me, I think I kinda like it like that. Yeah, I think I kinda like it like that. Hold on now, maybe you only wanna save me 'cause I think you.
Hi guys, I just finished Daisy Hates in the remaining 10 hours of the timer. This took me so long to read. The first like 150 pages took me so long, and then it just flew by. Anyways, I just finished it this morning, and I thought that I would give my thoughts on it and then also do a quick wrap up of the other books that we read in this video and sort of final ratings on them. Okay, so Daisy Hates. This book was really good. This book was really, really good. I would say, like I said, the first 150 pages were definitely slower. This is also part of the Magnolia Parks series, and so picking up this book, I definitely assumed that I would be like continuing in a series where, you know, you already know all the characters, you know the world, which is true, but it doesn't read like a second book because you're getting new POVs, you're getting not like new characters necessarily, but just like new perspectives on things, and so it doesn't, you're still starting the Daisy Hates series, even though it's part of the Magnolia Parks series and it's part of like that whole universe. The Daisy Hates books just follow different people, completely different storylines. I mean, Daisy Hates is like mentioned in the first book, but like maybe once or twice, like not really a prevalent character from what I remember when I read it. So this felt like starting a new series, which I think is one of the reasons that it took me so long to get into. And I just found the overall pace of the beginning of the book a little bit slower. Then it picks up. It's really, really good. Honestly, I was really hooked on it. It just flowed. It was like reading Magnolia Parks, the first book, where it's just kind of like a stream of consciousness. It was really good, really immersive. And then the last like 50 pages of this book is just absolutely wild. I loved it so much. It was so good. So many plot twists, crazy things happen, really high stakes. It was just awesome. It was so fun to read about. It was really great. I would say like if the first 150 pages weren't as slow as they were, I would give this also 5 stars like I did for the first book of the series, but because it was slower and harder to get into, I think that my final rating for this is going to be like a 4.5, which I think is still stellar. It's still so good. And yesterday my order for the third book in the series just came in, so I will probably be reading this really soon. This series is actually so good. I didn't expect to like it as much as I am liking it. Then going back, the book that I read before was Hook, Line, and Sinker. I've already given my thoughts on this, but I think looking back on it, I think I would give it a 3.5 stars. It was really good, but it was just kind of nothing special. Like, it didn't give me that like amazing romance feeling where you're like absolutely dying for the characters to be together, but it was still really good. I'm glad that I read it. I'm glad that I finished the series. I feel like had I connected more with the characters, it would be an easy 4 stars, but just for my own personal reading experience, it was like 3.5. Still super good, still really liked it. Okay, and then the book that I read before that was Ricochet. This book was really good. It was like a fever dream. Like I picked it up, finished it so quick. It was so good. I honestly really liked this. It was different, but really good. I think that I would also give this, I want to say like a 4.5. I don't like, it didn't give me like the 5-star feelings, but it was just incredible, and I'm so excited to continue the series. So I think I'm gonna give this one a 4.5 as well. And then the first book that we read in this video is Daydream, which I just finished up the last half of it. I don't know, it's hard to think of this book critically. Like it was just a fun time. I think that splitting it up and having such a long time gap between the reading the first half and reading the second half of the book definitely didn't help for it, but I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. It was a good time. I think that the characters were really well suited for each other. I thought it was a really sweet story. So I think I'm gonna give this one 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. It was definitely above average. I liked the writing in it. I thought it was really sweet, but it wasn't anything amazing to me. I didn't connect with it super strongly. I just thought it was a great book, great read, really fun. So I think I'm going to stick with 4 stars for this. So those are all the books that I read. Really high ratings, all between 3.5 and 4.5 stars. Really successful. I'm really glad I did this reading vlog, the 24 hours of reading, to kind of get through some of the romance series and finishing up my September TBR. I had such a great time filming this and reading these books. I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.